from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Hello there, good evening and a warm welcome to the National News broadcast. Ready to bring you stories from home and from across the world. I am Lakshadendra Singha and alongside me tonight is Kasuni Balachandra.
Sri Lanka qualifies for the finals of the Women's Asia Cup T20 Championship. President says the country will be guided towards a green economy. Minister Manusha says migrant worker remittances will be tax-free. Measures to set up a digital platform to receive people's opinion for the National Council Subcommittee on identifying short and medium-term programs related to economic stabilization. Staff of Tilini Priyamali's company summoned to the CID. State Minister Sanath Nishanta ordered to appear before courts in person for every hearing. United Nations directs attention over Russia's occupation of several areas in Ukraine.
We move on to those and other stories in detail, and in your top local story tonight, Sri Lanka secured a place in the finals of the Women's Asia Cup T20 Championship today. They managed to secure a one-run victory against Pakistan in the semi-finals. Accordingly, Sri Lanka will face India in the finals on coming Saturday. The second semi-finals of the tournament was between Sri Lanka and Pakistan. The match was played at Sylhet International Stadium in Bangladesh.
That went all the way. They were looking to create some chances.
Winning the toss, Sri Lanka managed to put up a total of 122 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. Harshika Samaravikrama scored 35 runs for Sri Lanka.
Behind the stumps, absolutely brilliant catch.
Sri Lankan batting towards the end and right hard. This is good bowling by the left-arm spinner using her experience. Sri Lanka had a very good last over. Before this happened, should have been a wide and stumped off it. Finished this game. That's a Sri Lankan team.
Chasing the target of 123 runs, Pakistan only managed to gather 121 runs in their 20 overs, losing 6 wickets. Accordingly, Sri Lanka managed to secure a thrilling one-run victory against Pakistan.
Reverse straight into the hands, the pressure building and
out there, good to see.
oh, this is very close. Look at Kavisha Dilhardy. She is swept away. Oh, he's just about.
Well, that's the ball. What was she trying to do? She was just trying to maneuver it. This is Inoka. High, very high. Can this be taken? It has been taken. Nasim strikes. Her intentions were very, very clear. Beg your pardon, Inoka strikes.
Is on strike.
They're asking for a catch. They're very confident. The umpire doesn't think so. It's a dot ball, but a precious dot ball. Which means Pakistan still need 9, just 3, they can have 4. Thompson down to long off. They're running the first run. Hold her nerve. She'll have to hold her nerve. Oh, precious dot, precious dot. Oh my goodness. Goes over the top. Oh, drops it, drops it, drops it. Now they're coming back for 2, coming back for 2. Gone. Sri Lanka has won. What do you think of it? Sri Lanka has won by 1 run. An amazing performance by the Sri Lankans. They're going to the final. Pakistan was so close, but eventually just a little bit too far.
Told you, Russia.
What a game.
Player of the match was Sri Lanka's Inoka Ranavira. This is the first time Sri Lanka qualified for the finals of the Asia Cup T20 tournament. Sri Lanka managed to secure a spot in the finals after a gap of 14 years. Sri Lanka men's side won the championship of the recently concluded Asia Cup T20 tournament held in Dubai.
And that's Sri Lanka celebrating, and why not? It's an Asia Cup final. Bowling!
He cleans him up. Sri Lanka celebrate.
At one stage, it looked like Pakistan will cruise along. But it ain't over until...
You know, after 14 years, we are in the finals in Asia Cup, so that's really good for us as a team, as a nation. We really excited today, and I'm really happy about my team performance, especially all players doing really good today. So that's what we accept, and they've done really good.
And in more local stories, measures have been taken to set up a digital platform to receive people's opinion for the National Council's subcommittee on identifying short and medium-term programs related to economic stabilization.
The committee chairman, Member of Parliament Patali Champika Ranawaka, made these remarks today. He mentioned this when the subcommittee met in Parliament to receive opinions of experts. Officials of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Finance and Professor Rohan Samarajiva were present in this meeting, where the current debt situation of the country and possible policy situations in dealing with the International Monetary Fund were discussed. The Superintendent and Registrar of the Public Debt Department of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, Dr. M.E.Z.M. Azim, said that there will be some comforting change in the existing situation by the coming month of January. The attention of the committee was drawn to the social pressure caused by maintaining the rupee against the dollar, increasing taxes and imposing import restrictions in order to stabilize the economy. The committee also paid attention to the social problems caused by the collapse of small and medium-scale industries, including high unemployment and increasing poverty. The chairman informed the Ministry of Finance and the Department of Census and Statistics to take necessary steps to conduct the survey of families in Sri Lanka immediately. The chairman also mentioned that since this survey has not been conducted for a period of 3 years, it will be more appropriate to understand the prevailing social situation and prepare future policies by conducting the survey. The committee has also planned to submit a detailed report in December that includes proposals related to debt stabilization and various areas that are under pressure in some way due to the government's negotiations with the International Monetary Fund. State Minister Sisira Jayakodi and MP M. Rameswaran and the Assistant Secretary General of Parliament Tikiri Jayatilaka were also present. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa says that there is no connection between the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution and holding provincial elections.
Addressing a press briefing in Colombo today, Minister Rajapaksa also commented on the Rehabilitation Authority Act. Minister Vijayadasa Rajapaksa said that a wrong interpretation of the 19th Amendment was circulated through media, mentioning that changes to the amendment were introduced during the committee stage debate. He said that was totally wrong. The minister further said such an incident took place related to the process of amending Provincial Councils and Local Elections Act. He said there was no any connection between him and that incident. Commenting on the amendments to the Rehabilitation Authority Act, the minister said the main objective of the amendment is to ensure the voluntary process of rehabilitation. Following the Easter Sunday attacks in 2019, several categories such as misled youth groups and groups who promote extremism and terrorism were included into the amendment process. The minister stressed that amending the Rehabilitation Authority Act was started around 10 years ago prior to the people's struggle which took place this year. However, if there's any fear or concern over these amendments in the society, the government is ready to discuss those matters with the relevant groups. The minister said he is ready to open a dialogue with social activists.
අරගලයේ කියන එකට වසර 10කට විතර කලින් තමයි මේ ව්‍යාපෘතිය පටන් අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. අපි තවදුරටත් මේ පිළිබඳව උනන්දුව දක්වන සමාජ ක්‍රියාකාරීන්ට හෝ වෙනත් සංවිධානවලට අපි අවස්ථාව දෙනවා මේ පිළිබඳව අදහස් දක්වන්න.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe instructed officials to celebrate the 75th Independence Day in a dignified manner that reflects national and religious unity. Now, steps have been taken to celebrate the 75th Independence Day celebration on February 4th next year at the Golface Green with all pomp and pageantry under the theme, Let's Stand Together. A discussion on the organization of the 75th Independence Day commemoration was held under the chairmanship of President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the President's office yesterday. Numerous events and programs have been organized in conjunction with the Independence Day commemoration, and special cycle race, school tournament, historical and rare book exhibition are among the main features planned. In addition, marking this special occasion, a housing project of 2,000 houses has been planned in Colombo and Gampaha districts. On the 4th and 5th of February, all national parks will be open to the public free of charge, and a commemorative stamp will be issued in conjunction with the 75th Independence Day celebrations. The organizing committee of the Independence Day celebration comprises 10 subcommittees, and an open invitation is extended to the public to witness the Independence Day celebrations. With the support of the armed forces, arrangements will be made to provide necessary facilities to the people participating in the program. Concurrently, the organization of various cultural, religious and social programs was also discussed based around all regional secretariats and district secretariats throughout the island. Many rural programs such as the Best Home Garden, Best Rural Revitalization Center, Best Tree Planting Program have been planned to be held concurrently with the National Independence Day celebrations. The President also issued instructions to display the national flag and light up the buildings owned by all government institutions in the island on Independence Day. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and Cabinet and State Ministers, United National Party Chairman MP Wajira Bewardena, Senior Advisor on National Security and President's Chief of Staff Sagala Ratnayaka, Secretary to the President Saman Ekanayaka, Secretary to the Ministry of Defence General Kamal Gunaratna, Chief of Defence Staff General Shavendra Silva and several others participated in the discussion.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says a roadmap will be introduced to guide Sri Lanka towards a better green economy through sectors such as renewable energy, with the aim to overcome climatic challenges.
The President said that he has proposed to establish a university on climate change in the country. The President made these remarks in an interview with a local YouTube channel.
Why is Sri Lanka placing so much importance and emphasis on climate change, especially during an economic crisis?
Well, if you are looking at the economic crisis, we have to place emphasis on climate change because today the economy and the climate change are interlinked. We have to recover from this position. There must be economic development in the country. We have to go ahead. Then our economy now must be on the lines of a green economy. That's what everyone else is doing in the world. We can't be outside that. Secondly, the tremendous potential Sri Lanka has as a green economy. We're just seeing the renewable energy. There are many other fields in which Sri Lanka can really benefit, and we should go ahead.
Right, thank you. What are some of the initiatives that Sri Lanka has put in place or is planning to put in place to address climate change?
Actually, we haven't done much after COP26 due to the political instability in Sri Lanka. But we do have a plan. Our framework will take into account the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement we signed, the adhesions taken at COP26, and the Commonwealth Heads of Government resolution on climate change. We are also looking at the blue economy. So within this framework, we'll be working out our initiatives, the potential we have, the steps we had to take. We even had to look at water at some stage, degraded soil, the reforestation. But in addition to that, I feel there has to be capacity building, not only for Sri Lanka, but for our whole region. And we are also proposing a climate change university, which will be devoted to capacity building among the officials and the activists involved in climate change.
You mentioned the COP summit. It has been announced that you will be attending the COP27 in Egypt next month. What is the government hoping to achieve by attending this summit?
No, we want to play our role there because we are very concerned as an Indian Ocean island nation. the impact it can have on us. And we should also work together with India, especially in places like Tamil Nadu. There's a lot being done on climate change. I also want to get support for the climate change university which we have been advocating. So we are going ahead, and I've asked former President Nasheed of Maldives to act as my special envoy on climate change. He's been visiting a number of countries, and Mr. Eric Solheim came as an advisor on both on our legislation as well as the climate change university.
Right. The Climate Summit has been running for 27 editions now with this year. Do you think the summits have been successful, or do you think there's space for improvement?
Well, 2015 was a really important one where I came to the climate change agreement, and certainly COP26 is very important. We have to follow up on COP26. There has been some of the countries have actually fallen behind, or they've sort of retreated from the positions they've taken. This is why COP27 is important, and the President of Egypt has invited King Charles to come and address COP27. I also think it's very important. Unfortunately, there seems to be some issue in UK about him attending COP27. I can't talk of UK, but talking as a member of the Commonwealth. King Charles is the head of the Commonwealth, and last February at the CHOGM we passed a resolution on climate change, so he should be here. I think the UK government should reconsider it and enable him to be in Egypt for COP27, because there's an important role to play.
State Minister Sanat Nishant surrendered to courts through attorneys after a warrant was issued for his arrest.
State Minister Sanat Nishant was released by the Court of Appeal with a stern warning and recalled the issued warrant. The parliamentarian was ordered to make an appearance at the court hearings without failure. Summons were issued on the State Minister recently by the Court of Appeal, ordering him to appear before the court today over charges of the contempt of court charges levelled against him. Following his arrival at the court premises, President's Counsel Faiz Mustafa, appearing on behalf of the State Minister, informed the court that he had not received the summons through appropriate means. The court thereafter released State Minister Sanat Nishant after a stern warning to appear in court on all dates when his case is taken up for consideration. The court accordingly recalled the arrest warrant issued on the State Minister. The petitions will be taken up for hearing again on the 10th of November. The Colombo High Court has issued summons to Sri Lanka Freedom Party Chairman Maithripala Sirisena and its Secretary Dayasiri Jayasekara to make submissions on the 19th regarding the petition filed by Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva requesting to revoke the decision to remove him from the relevant party posts and duties.
The staff of Thilini Priyamali's company, who was recently arrested over financial fraud, was summoned to the Criminal Investigation Department to record statements. The police have indicated that steps were taken to summon the staff members for inquiry in small batches. Accordingly, two staff members of the company media division, Surangi Kudituaku and Dhananjaya Nanakara, were summoned to the CID today. The CID officers also inspected the office of Thilini Priyamali in the 34th level of the World Trade Center yesterday. Prison media spokesman Chandan Ekanayaka clarified the reasons for accompanying Thilini Priyamali to her office at the World Trade Center without handcuffs yesterday, as well as the confiscation of a mobile phone recovered from her prison chamber. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena instructs officials to immediately resolve the crisis that has arisen regarding the release of maize seeds imported from India to farmers.
The Prime Minister gave instructions during the meeting of the National Steering Committee for Achieving United Nations Sustainable Development Goals at the Temple Trees today. Attention was directed to the challenges of achieving 17 Sustainable Development Goals at the meeting. In addition to the problems in the health and agricultural sectors that have arisen in the face of the current economic crisis, attention was drawn to many important areas including reviewing the problem of poverty, cruelty against children, improving food production under the Food Security Program, overcoming climate challenges and water management in the meeting. Attention of the Prime Minister was directed to the malnutrition among children that is intensifying due to the country's economic downturn. Minister Mahinda Amaravira revealed that the reason for the delay in maize produce that stagnate Thriposha production was the delay in the release of the seeds brought from India by the port plant quarantine unit. Minister Kerry Rambukwal, who commented on the occasion, pointed out that the release of the seeds has been delayed as the officials are following precautionary measures in that regard due to the spread of rumours about the presence of aflatoxin in the imported maize seeds. The Prime Minister instructed the officials to investigate and intervene in this matter immediately. The Prime Minister emphasised that if there is any ban on the release of the seeds needed by the farmers, the President or himself can be informed about the issue. Also, the Premier pointed out that he must have been informed about the fact that according to which international standards that the seeds have been tested before delaying the release of the seeds. Commenting on social security included in the Sustainable Development Goals, the Prime Minister pointed out that the long-term continuation of cases regarding minor matters is a serious problem faced by people, and this is unnecessary trouble and unnecessary expense for the people. He said the government officials should be informed about the programs to achieve development goals and not limited to circulars. UN Resident Coordinator Sarad Dash, who participated in the event, said that the United Nations expressed its appreciation for the progress Sri Lanka has made so far in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals and will continue to provide the necessary support to Sri Lanka in this regard. He also mentioned that United Nations is expected to spend $385 million to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals of Sri Lanka between 2023 and 2027. It was emphasized in the National Steering Committee meeting that every ministry should maintain reports on how much they contribute to Sustainable Development Goals, and Sustainable Development Goals should be prioritized in the 2023 budget. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena requested the International Labour Organization to assist the initiative of the government to establish a digital database of labour workforce in Sri Lanka. He pointed out that the Ministry of Labour has taken steps to establish a comprehensive digitalized database of the workforce and urged the ILO to assistance for expediting the process. This was discussed when ILO Country Director Simran Singh and Senior Employment Specialist of ILO Headquarters Shervari called on him at the Prime Minister's office today. The Prime Minister briefed them on the impact of the COVID pandemic and economic crisis on labour workforce and the short-term and long-term steps taken by the government to recover the economy and to help the workers, especially the low-income labour force. ILO Country Director said despite some signs of positive trends, most developing countries, including Sri Lanka, are faced with difficulties due to global recession, limited fiscal space, debt sustainability challenges and rising inflation. She pointed out that these issues have resulted in a labour market crisis. The ILO delegation assured fullest support to all the efforts taken by the government for the well-being of the labour and measures for upgrading skills of the workforce.
And in more stories, red alert weather advisory has been issued for 13 districts. At the same time, a landslide warning has been issued to several areas in Ratnapura and Kalathara districts. Meteorological Department says the prevailing heavy rains are expected to continue during the next 24 hours. And the Department of Disaster Management advised the general public to be vigilant on weather-related disaster conditions.
prevailing rain situation is continuing as per the meteorological department. They're expecting that rain could also be expected in next 24 hours also. So actually by roads and some other areas, lowland area, it's been somewhat inundated, but there is no any disaster situation reported so far. However, as per the Met Department, more than 100 millimeters of rain will be expected as showers and thunder showers, and in western and Sabaragamu, central and southern and northwestern provinces, and the other areas also be expecting more than 75 millimeters of rain. So far, many locations been reported with more than 100 millimeters of rain. With that information, the National Building and Research Organization (NBRO) that they have issued a warning over the possibility of landslides in Galle, especially in Badegam area, for the level 1 message, and the Kalutara district level 2, 1 and 2 being issued, and for the level 2 and with Ambakala we nominated Palindanuwara, Bulak Sinhala, Walala with Ingiri and Dodangoda area, and in Ratnapura level 1 being issued, Ayagama, Kiriella, Haliogoda, Alapada, Ratnapura, Palmadulla, Nivitekala, Kuruvita and Kalawan area. People who are living in that particular the high mountainous and risky area and areas been identified by the NBRO as risky area has to pay a lot of alert on that situation. If any signs been observed as a landslide sign, slanting trees and cracks on the ground and sudden muddy springs appearing or disappearing, that could be a signs of landslides. If any signs been observed, they need to move from these locations to the safe areas. If any queries that all the people, vulnerable communities could access 117 call center. With the prevailing situation, we have informed all the possible locations and the district disaster management units and military and the police search and rescue things standby for any kind of assistance will be expecting through the disaster management center, and all officials and all been media and all these communities been aware through the emergency operations center. Right now, any queries people can access via 117 call center number.
In other stories, Minister Manusha Nayakkara says the foreign remittances sent by migrant workers through the bank system of Sri Lanka will be exempt from taxes.
At the same time, stern legal actions will be taken against those who conduct illegal foreign currency transfers. Minister Nayakkara made those comments addressing a press briefing this afternoon. Minister Manusha Nayakkara said that when he took over the ministry, the total value of foreign remittances sent by migrant workers was around $247 million. That amount has been increased up to $359 million now. He said the money sent to Sri Lanka through legal means will be used to purchase oil, medicine and food required for the people of Sri Lanka. The minister thanked the migrant workers who use legal methods to send foreign remittances to Sri Lanka. He reiterated that the money sent through the bank system will be exempted from taxation. At the same time, a large-scale network has been initiated to curb the illegal money transfers related to the migrant workers. The minister said legal actions will be taken against those who used illegal methods to send money to Sri Lanka.
Opposition parties have decided to build up a wide consensus with an aim to protest against the government over the delayed provincial elections. Nidahas Janata Sabhava Party convened opposition party leaders meeting yesterday to discuss this matter. A large number of opposition parties took part in the meeting and presented their views regarding the process of delaying the local government elections. The opposition members unanimously agreed to carry forward a wide campaign against the move by the government. They say opposition parties will raise the matter in the parliament as well as go to courts seeking justice. They also expect to gather public support and launch awareness campaigns targeting international community. However, National People's Power did not take part in the meeting.
State Minister Ranjit Siyambalapitiya instructs authorities to take immediate steps to release 1 million kilos of rice in 79 containers. The containers of rice were held at the port due to non-payment of late fees. The decision was taken during a special discussion held with the officials of the port and Sri Lanka Customs yesterday. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya called the meeting to discuss the matters observed during his recent visit to the Sri Lankan Customs premises in Colombo Port. In order to reduce the heavy traffic in Colombo Port, a decision was reached to release over 950 containers currently held there by the Customs without delay charges. Minister Siambalapitiya mentioned that apart from rice, there are large stocks of karunka and turmeric in these containers. Accordingly, the relevant containers will be released under a priority list. Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva also agreed to take steps to exempt the concerned containers from late charges and said that the relevant cabinet paper will be forwarded to the cabinet in near future. Director General of Customs PBSC Nonis, Secretary of Ministry of Ports and Aviation Services KDS Ruan Chandra and other senior officials participated on this occasion.
We now take a look at more local stories in brief. A high-level meeting on climate change was held in Colombo yesterday under the patronage of International Advisor to the President on Climate Change Eric Solheim and Deputy Leader of the United National Party Ruwan Wijewardena. Building a climate-resilient economy and social condition in Sri Lanka was the main theme discussed at the meeting. Secretary to the Ministry of Environment Dr. Anil Singha also took part in the discussions. Commonwealth finance ministers who are now convening at the Washington, D.C. pay attention on challenges against sustainable development goals to be completed by 2030. They also pointed out that those challenges could usher a threat to the global economy. Inflation and debt repayment by the Commonwealth nations was also widely discussed. Ministers also pay attention on future actions to ensure sustainable development and economic prosperity of the 56-member Commonwealth nations. State Minister Shehan Semasinghe and Governor of the Central Bank Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe represented Sri Lanka in this meeting. Stay tuned with us. News from overseas coming your way after this short break.
H&B, a joy to bank with.
මගේ කලා ජීවිතයට දැන් අවුරුදු ගාණක් වෙනවා. පුංචි මදුරුවෙක් හින්දා අහිංසක ජීවිත ගණනාවක් මේ ලෝකේ අතහැරලා ගිය අවස්ථා ඕන තරම් මම දැකලා තියෙනවා. දැන්වත් අපි මේක නතර කරමු.
Happiness is a feeling for yourself, but joy on the other hand, now that's something you share. Could also be a much needed getaway from the routines of every day, or even a simple beginning to a grand story of empowerment with those you love and trust. And that is why we make banking enjoyable. H&B, a joy to bank with.